review of the Indian stock market indices and broadly the structures of each of the important indices that we cover in this. Uh, to end this, definitely I will talk about one more investment idea that uh, I invested in maybe 1.5 month ago. As I've always said, I release the names or uh, the companies with a lag from when I have bought for severe restrictions on not wanting to uh, impact or influence the decisions that you make. So, in all good faith, it is my attempt to provide information on what and how I select stocks, which can be applied to almost anything that or any company or the whole entire set of Nifty that is there. So I'm not doing anything very fancy. If you look at it, it's a 10-minute, 15-minute scan on a stock, and that's about it. So let's look at the structures first. Nifty, we are seeing a correction very recently. The main pivot or the main point of uh, holding things together remains at 23,893. Now again, it can come all the way down, not uh, break this at all, and return back up, right? So these structures, they are formed over weeks. So please understand that breaking 2889, 23,893 is not going to be a joke. So it will be tough, and very unlikely that the markets will even try and come up to that point. But broadly, without a doubt, we're bullish on Nifty. Bank Nifty, similar story. The important low remains at 49,654. If we go to CNX Finance, again, this is the important low. I'll mark it out. 22,497. Again, bullish. Nifty Auto, again, the important low is here, uh, or we can even shift it to here now since this has made a new high. So 24,464 is is another important low to look at. CNX public sector, no change in the low that we had previously marked. It continues to stay there, but unlike needless to say, it is bullish. Metals is bullish, and metals can now move this particular pivot point to 8727. Until this is challenged, uh, I don't see anything that's related to bearish, right? And you know, remember whenever Nifty starts correcting very sharply, look at the larger time frame, and larger time frames in my opinion are only weekly and monthly, right? Daily also is not a very large time frame, so we should always look at weekly or monthly. What happens with monthly is then you miss out the investment opportunities that come in between. They come very uh, meekly once or twice in a year, but in weekly you keep getting small corrections which allow us to invest the new funds that we have got, right? If you look at CNX Realty, the structure low still remains here. I would, I would even correct it to something here, right? So the structure low still remains around at 909. Although it is in a range, it still means that uh, it has, enough bullishness in its own structure right now. CNX Energy, no change. The structure remains exactly the same, bullish with this point to be looked at as key. PSU banks, similar story. The only part that is concerning is PSU banks is very close to this particular weekly market structure point. CNX Infra, we can uh, we can now take this level here. That becomes a new point, and the structure is still bullish with a correction. FMCG remains bullish. across all sectors. This remains to be a key point for FMCG. CNX IT, uh, same thing. It's very deep in terms of the coverage of points from here. CNX Pharma, again, defensives are doing extremely well. If you look at the previous update that we had, defensives are a good structure right now. Last but not least, let's look at Sensex. And Sensex also, I think we already have a point marked at 78 to 95. So, sorry. So that's how the structures are. Everything in the charts at least is bullish. In terms of the bond yields, after a lot of weeks of fall, we are seeing a good correction in bond yields. That's a good thing to have now, but any rate cuts from here will be a really dangerous point, and if there are rate cuts, then bond yields will fall significantly. So we will keep a watch on bond yields. Again, this one candle does not define all this fall that has happened. It does not defy that. So yes, we have got a correction in the bond yields, which is a good sign for the equity markets. But that still does not put us in the factor of all fundamentals are aligning with uh, the stock market index as of now. They never did. You know, we always keep on saying the stock market is an indicator of the economy's health, but that's really not true because it has to do with a lot of money management. It has to do with a lot of other factors which are globally there. So if you believe only events is something that moves the stock market, there are many other things that are going on on a broader picture within investment banks, within large funds that are there. In the past 2 months, while I am cautious about every investment that I make, I did find a good company uh, that I recently invested in. Again, none of the investments that I make are very large at the very first go. I always take, if I've done X amount now, and if the markets do fall from where we are, then I put in another X amount and I continue to put amounts until it is fundamentally, uh, viable organization or a fundamentally viable company to hold stocks of. So Sona BLW Precision Forgings, this is basically a similar category of what we have done in Ask Automotives, but this is again related to the automotive design, mostly for micro hybrid motors, BSG systems, and EV traction motors. So broadly, I think the company only went public in July 2021. From there, went at public at around 400 and currently trading at around 700 odd amount. Um, in terms of the financials, if you look at it, excellent sales, great operating profit margin every single quarter, good EPS growth that we are seeing. Even on a yearly basis, the OPM is excellent. Uh, from 2021. This sudden drop that you see in EPS is obviously because it went public, so the shareholding increases and the EPS drops. But if you see 3, 6, 6.3, 8.26, and 9.18, there has been a steady increase in EPS. In terms of borrowings, long-term borrowings are not many, short-term borrowings are there. Always remember that the short-term borrowings are more to do with uh, day-to-day business operations, so it's not a very big concern. Fixed assets have been increasing well, so that means they're investing in fixed assets, which can also be seen in the investing activity in the cash flows, that the fixed assets are being bought. There are some investments being purchased to invest in other areas with the fund that remains. If you see, the free cash flow every year is positive, except this 1 year of COVID, where if you see the 886 was again investment purchased of 858, so it's not a concern at this point. But if you see 121 minus 4, that's around 4 crores. Then we have about 70 crores here. We have a negative one here. When you drop down into why the 512, you realize that they have bought a lot of fixed assets and they've done a lot of investments purchasing that has been done. the free cash flow has increased here once again. So broadly, in terms of the health of the company, everything seems fantastic. The ROC is also good. It's not commendable, but I mean, it's something that could be worked out. So with that view, Sona BLW Precision Forgings Limited has become a part of my portfolio very recently. It's a long-term view, uh, maybe a couple of years, 3 years, depends how well it does in the upcoming quarters as well. So quarterly results will be watched closely. And if you see in my, so generally what I do is for every stock that I have thought of and ever made a note of, I put it in the notebook on screener. So 29 September was the first date when I added it to my fair to buy list, and 30th is where I added it to my core list. Now, of course, it is not this recent investment. This update is slightly old, but I think I caught the stock somewhere at around somewhere in the last week of August, but I updated it retrospectively. But generally, what I do is I make it a practice that I add it to my core list. Now, if you see, after I've added it to my core list, it has dropped by 6%. So the value of my investment has dropped by 6%, which is fine. If I am looking at the long-term investment horizon, if I don't see any issues on the quarterly results that are coming up in September, even if it drops another 4%, goes down all the way 10%, there is more amount that I'm willing to allocate. Now, I'm not suggesting that's what you should do, but that's the approach that I follow on any good investment opportunity that I find, and once I find it, I make sure that I'm adding to the portfolio in that stock as long as the company is making sure that there is enough growth traction that they are having for themselves. Uh, that's it from my side. I think I'll see you again in the next week. I hope you make a good use of this correction by looking at the right fundamental stocks. Um, if you are someone who loves to buy ETFs, great opportunity. It's around almost a 5% drop from the top now. Yeah, almost 5%, 4.99%, which is almost 5% drop. Nifty Bs, Bank Bs, Gold Bs, whatever is your choice, could be a potential investment opportunity as well. That's all from me. Thank you so much. And I wish you good luck and good investing. Until I see you next time, bye bye.